Today is Wednesday, 18th of June, 2025, 6 a.m. Eastern Time. This news is brought to you by Preeti Capital, your trusted source for financial insights.
Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into the market action from June 18th, 2025. We've got insights from Preeti Capital here. And really, our mission is to cut through the noise, figure out what these daily shifts actually mean for you. Sometimes the headlines are just one part of the story.
Exactly. The goal here is to help you pull out the key uh, nuggets of information from the day's financial news. We're not just telling you what happened. We want you to understand why it's important, giving you that, crucial context. And today, there's this really interesting tension, I think, between sort of broad market caution and these surprising pockets of real growth.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
So June 18th, the U.S. markets, they closed lower.
Yeah.
S&P 500 down, what, 0.84%. Dow fell 0.7%. NASDAQ dipped about 1%. And this broader pullback, it seems mostly tied to rising geopolitical tension, Israel and Iran. That pushed oil up initially, but what actually happened with commodities by the close?
Yeah, that tension definitely casts a bit of a shadow. But what's interesting is, despite that initial jump you mentioned, both WTI and Brent crude actually pulled back a little by the end of the day. Meanwhile, you saw safe havens like gold and silver gain. Gold up almost 0.5%, silver nearly 0.8%.
Okay.
And even the US dollar index fell. Treasury yields dipped too, especially after some weaker retail sales data. It all kind of points to investors looking for safety, right?
Right, a definite risk-off feel generally.
Hmm.
And that showed up in market breadth too, didn't it? It declined slightly. You mentioned the equal-weighted S&P 500 ratio slipping against the market cap weighted one. Can you explain for our listeners, what exactly does that signal? Why does that suggest caution?
That's a great question because market breadth just tells us how many stocks are actually participating in whatever the market's doing.
Hmm.
So if breadth is declining, like today, it means fewer stocks are going up or maybe more are falling, even if the main index isn't crashing.
Got it.
And that equal weighted ratio, think of it like this. The standard S&P 500, it gives huge weight to the Apples and Amazons. Their moves really sway the index.
Yeah?
The equal weighted one treats every company the same. So when the equal weighted index does worse than the standard one, it usually means the biggest stocks are holding things up.
Okay.
While maybe smaller and mid-sized companies are struggling more, that's a classic sign. Investors are getting cautious, sticking with the perceived safety of the giants.
That makes sense. A flight to quality, even
Right.
within a generally down market. But okay, this is where it gets interesting, like you said at the start. Despite that caution, we saw some really strong individual moves. Where was the strength today? What bucked the trend?
Yeah, that's the really fascinating counterpoint. While the overall market was weaker, some sectors and stocks really shone. Energy kept up its strong run. Natural gas prices rose again about 0.62%. And then you had specific company stories. Lucid Group was up, what, 2.38%, some optimism there on earnings perhaps. Ford gained almost 2%, maybe reflecting good news on its EV strategy. These companies have their own drivers.
Right, individual catalysts. And NVIDIA, the AI powerhouse, just kept climbing. Barclays even raised their target price, citing that accelerating AI hardware demand. But what really jumped out at me amidst all the caution was quantum computing.
Oh, yeah.
Rigetti and Quantum Computing Inc. both hit 52-week highs. That seems significant. Strategic partnerships, market excitement. It's a powerful counter-narrative, isn't it?
Yeah.
Showing where innovation money is still flowing.
It absolutely is. And it raises this point for you, the listener. Some areas are clearly hot, while others are, well, facing real challenges. Seero Therapeutics gained on trial progress, Pure Cycle Tech rose on investor confidence. But then you look at Enphase Energy, first solar sharp drops. Why? Legislative issues around tax credits. It just underscores how vital it is to look beyond the index at these sector specifics and company stories. The market isn't just one thing.
Absolutely. And looking just ahead to tomorrow, June 19th, we could see more of this individual stock action with earnings. Companies like Ferrovial Korea, Electric Power, TechTarget, SealSQ, they're all showing implied moves from maybe 3.5% up to nearly 10%.
Wow.
Tells you these individual stories have legs, regardless of the broader mood.
Indeed. It's that mix, isn't it? The macro trends and the micro company performance, that's where you find the opportunities day to day.
So wrapping this up for you,
Mm-hmm.
even on a day where the broad market felt cautious, like today, with that slightly weaker breath maybe favoring the bigger stocks, there are always these specific potent insights if you look closer. We saw that mix today, didn't we? General caution pulling things down,
Yeah.
but specific stories like quantum computing hitting new highs, pushing firmly against that trend. Understanding that split is really crucial.
Couldn't agree more. And it leaves us with a thought, maybe something for you to mull over. You've got this slight decline in market breadth, hinting at caution, favoring large caps. That's one narrative. But then you have these specific high growth areas like quantum computing hitting 52-week highs. Real excitement there. So, how does that tension between the broad caution and this very targeted excitement, how does that shape your view on where the real opportunities might be hiding? Something to think about until our next deep dive.